Good morning, La Casa de Cristo. It's great to be with you this morning in this beautiful season of Lent. This is that which takes place in between the before and the after. This is the interlude. And because we are in the season of Lent, we want to know, what is this season? And so this morning we have Pastor Wayne Wilke with us this morning. Good morning to you. How are you, Wayne?
Good. I'm doing well. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely great to have you. Now, we want to know, what is the season of Lent? Hold that microphone nice and high there, Wayne. What season are we in? What is Lent, and why is it so important to the life of the church?
Lent is a season of preparation, of getting ready, getting ourselves spiritually ready for Holy Week and for Good Friday and for Easter Sunday, and all the changes that go on in the life of the church, in the life of a person during that time. Lent is very interesting. I think last Sunday was Transfiguration Sunday, when Jesus is transfigured before his disciples, and they are amazed at what they have seen, and they said, this is something we should just stay here and commemorate. Jesus' message instead is, no, we have to prepare to go to Jerusalem. The very next service is Ash Wednesday, and we've gone from the heights of Jesus being glorified before his disciples, and now they begin the Passion. And so it's that transition from two very different emotional periods in the life of the church that we try to accomplish during Lent.
So Ash Wednesday kicks off the season.
Right.
How long does the season last, and what is the end of the season?
The season lasts for 40 days, if you don't count Sundays. And the end of the season, or the end, begins on the Holy Week, on Palm Sunday, when Jesus enters Jerusalem and his time in Jerusalem, the Last Supper, Good Friday. But then the ultimate culmination of that week is Easter Sunday, with Jesus' resurrection from the dead.
And what are some of the ways here at this church that people can participate in the season of Lent?
I think the best thing to do is to remember in this season that we're kind of doing spiritual work in our own lives, preparing ourselves for not only for this year, but we prepare ourselves to best live our lives that God has given us as his people. At La Casa de Cristo, I think the highlight each week is the Wednesday night service, studying this year the book that Pastor Carol has written on the names of Jesus, and or the names for God, and how those names are symbolic but also very meaningful as we reflect on what the name of God means in our lives.
Pastor Wilke, I'm so grateful for you, and thank you for sharing with us about Lent this morning. And I hope that all of our online audience can continue to join us for this great season through worship, through our online services, and through all the opportunities. We also have something else very exciting this morning that we are celebrating, and that is that we have some new members of the church. Just 2 weeks ago, we had a new member orientation, and this morning in worship and last night in worship at the 5 p.m. Saturday service, we welcome some new members. So we want to introduce some of them to you and get to know them a little bit better. We're going to come on right over here. Good morning. Good morning. How are you today?
Good morning.
Go ahead and introduce yourself to our online audience, please.
My name is Ron Teamy. We're from Fort Wayne, Indiana, and we just new members today.
So happy to have you here. Now, what's the biggest difference between Fort Wayne, Indiana, and Phoenix, Arizona?
About 50 degrees north.
Very good. How did you end up in Arizona here?
Well, we came here about 13 years ago. We spent 4 years in Sedona, and we decided that this was a more pleasant situation here. There are more people, more things to do. So we moved down here about 8 years ago.
Very good.
And we were looking for a new church, and friends of ours asked us to meet them here for a Sunday. And we really enjoyed everything so far that we've seen.
That's great. Well, we're so happy to have both of you here. I want to ask you, what is it about La Casa de Cristo that drew you into this particular church?
Well, our friends, Al and Roxanne, and then after we were here, everything that we have participated in has far exceeded our expectations, from the women's happiest hour to the Bible studies, everything.
We're so happy to have you here. Thank you so much. Let's go down the line a little bit here and get to know some others. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Will you please share with us your names for the online audience here?
I'm Pat Foley.
Ken Jackson.
And Pat and Ken, tell us about your background. Are you from Arizona or from somewhere else?
Not originally. We moved here from Kentucky, and but we've been coming here since 1968 because my parents lived here, and we finally moved here in 2005.
we moved here in 2005, and we had been into a number of different churches, and then most recently was introduced to La Casa through Rex Salton. And we joined the choir and then have gotten involved in other ministries here at La Casa, including the Veterans Breakfast and the Bells and a number of other.
And I can see by your robes this morning that you're in the choir this morning. Tell us what it's like to sing in the church choir here.
Well, we really enjoy it. The previous church we were at decided that they didn't need a choir, and so we opted to, we decided, well, you don't need us singing. We're going to find some place that does, and so La Casa worked out perfectly.
Very good. We're delighted to have you as well. All right, let's go down to the end of the line here. Good morning.
Good morning.
Introduce yourself, please, to the online audience.
I'm Alan Steffi, my wife Roxanne. We're from Michigan. Worked for General Motors there for about 44 years. Once I retired, I was blessed to have the opportunity to come out to Arizona and spend time between our residence in Michigan and Arizona and just love it here. Been exposed to the church through the Arizona Music Fest. We came to several concerts. We were impressed with the building and the activities, and as a result, went online, looked at a couple of the services, and said, we got to try this. We tried it and love it. And I'm sure Roxanne can add to that.
Well, I was looking for a church where the word is taught. And I can say at La Casa, I have found that in abundance.
Well, wonderful, wonderful. So here we have two people that definitely know your good old American-made cars and trucks. Very good. What kind of work did you do for GM?
I spent all my time in the foundry industry, not the glamour side of the vehicles, but it's the components that made them run.
Very good, very good. Well, to both of you, we're so happy that you are here. Thank you for joining us here at La Casa de Cristo, and we look forward to all the ministries we get to participate in together.
Thank you. We enjoy it.
All right, we have two more over here. We're going to switch sides. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Pastor Matt.
How are you today?
I'm doing great, sir. Thank
I'm
you.
going to have you introduce yourselves to the online audience, please.
My name is Bill Wren, and this is my wife, Shirley. And we're from Phoenix, Arizona, by way of Davenport, Iowa, although Shirley was born here in Phoenix.
Very good. Let's hold that microphone nice and high there so make sure everyone can hear you. So from Phoenix here, you know what it's like to live here through the summers, through the winters, through it all. Bill, tell us what kind of work you do.
For the last 45 years, I've been with the Phoenix Police Department. I'm a Phoenix police officer.
And Bill, I'm curious, is there any way that you can use the work that you do for the ministry of the church here?
Absolutely. All you have to do is look at the headlines that's going on in the world today and stuff. So I can actually, in fact, I've actually been at the church for the last 10 years.
Absolutely.
As your security officer during the day.
Absolutely. That's why I ask you, Bill, because we're so grateful. If you were not aware, Officer Wren here is an officer here on campus on Sunday mornings and for other activities and events throughout the year. So we're so blessed. Shirley, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Did you do any kind of work outside of the home?
Yes, I was a police dispatcher for
Oh, my goodness.
30-some years.
So both working in the police department.
Yes.
Wow.
She used to tell me where to go at home and at work.
Okay.
Dispatcher. She's the voice on the radio.
Very good. Very good. So you were part of the recent new member orientation, and some people that either they've been a part of the church for a long time, so they don't really know what the new member orientation is, or of course other people who have just simply never been through it and are curious about it themselves. Can you share with them what that new member orientation is, what it's like?
What's good about it is that you get to meet all the other new members that are coming on, and you start off with knowing people, and then you end up talking with Pastor Ruby, and he actually has you do a test to kind of see. It's a fun test. I mean, it's not one of those tests that you have to pass or not, but then we actually learn a little bit more about the scriptures.
Yeah, very good. Emphasis on fun test, right?
Fun test. Yeah, let me rephrase that.
It's all for fun. Yeah, we go through the a little bit of the history of the church. We talk about what it means to be a part of the Lutheran traditions. We talk about what it means to be focused on Christ and the Bible here in this place. And it's just a quick time together, but a very fulfilling time together, right? And then 2 weeks later, which is actually today, you are welcomed into the life of the church. What service are you being welcomed into the membership of the church?
The 9:15 service today.
This service coming up at 9:15.
Yes.
So right after the interlude this morning, you can see the Wrens, you can see many others being welcomed into the church, and it's actually happening throughout all of our worship services this morning. So you can catch the 9:15, you can catch the 10:30 worship service as well. So I want to ask you, is there anything in particular you are excited about looking into in the life of the church here? Any of the ministries that have caught your attention?
I was looking, my first foot that I set inside the grounds here was for the happiest hour.
Oh, yes.
And received that invitation, so I came to see what it was about. And Paula was very, very welcoming.
And for those watching that don't know what the happiest hour is, tell us what that is.
Yes, it was an invitation to come be with the women of the church and, just get a bite of it, what it was like.
I believe it was Paula Webb's.
Yes.
Introduction. So
Yeah.
I understand she was new to the church also
Very good.
recently.
Well, we have so many opportunities here, as they just mentioned. Paula Webb, our new women's director here at the church, had a big happiest hour event, she called it, brought all the women together, a fantastic thing. But also in this season, as we talked about earlier with Pastor Wilke, this is the season of Lent. So everybody, male and female, are all involved in the Lent opportunities, small groups, studying the devotional book from Pastor Carol Peters, Wednesday evening worship, and of course our ongoing weekend worship as well. So we are so happy to have both of you here.
Thank you, Pastor Mike.
Thank you for being members of the church. Thank you also for your work in the police department and for the ways that you carry over that work into the church. Watch for Officer Wren here on campus. He's usually here on Sunday mornings. You'll see him in uniform. He's watching over your vehicles while you worship and just making sure all of us are safe. So thank you so much for that. Well, God bless you all. This has been a beautiful Sunday morning, and this has been the Interlude.